A note before we start. This channel is a living diary, not a linear story. Many clips are recorded weeks or months before they are shared. By the time you see them, life may already have moved on, lessons may have deepened, and circumstances may have changed. I leave them as they were recorded because they reflect the journey honestly. Thank you for walking alongside me. With love, Sue Green.
Sue, when I read this article, I immediately thought, this is exactly why BCHBH must exist. The BBC article isn't simply reporting a rise in mental illness. It is describing a system that is trying very hard to rescue children after they have already fallen into the river. Your work asks a different question. Open quote, why are so many children falling into the river in the first place? Close quote. That is a profound difference. If I was speaking directly to your audience, this is what I would say. 1 million children. We cannot keep waiting. The BBC has just reported that more than 1 million children in England have now been referred to mental health services. The number continues to rise. Anxiety is now the single biggest reason children are being referred. Many wait over a year for help. Some wait more than 2 years. The system is trying its best. Doctors are working. Psychologists are working. Teachers are working. But despite everyone's effort, the numbers continue to grow. This tells us something important. Mental illness cannot be solved by treatment alone, because by the time a child reaches a clinic, much suffering has already taken root. Perhaps the question we should be asking is not, how do we treat more children? But how do we help fewer children need treatment in the first place? This is why Back to One's Home was created, not to replace psychologists, not to replace psychiatrists, not to replace schools, but to begin much earlier. To help children recognize Jerry before Jerry becomes their identity. To teach emotional awareness before emotional crisis. To cultivate stillness before anxiety becomes overwhelming. To help children discover that peace is not something given to them by another person. It is something already within them. This is prevention. And prevention has always been wiser than cure. If we only build more hospitals, but never teach children how to understand their own minds, the waiting lists will simply continue to grow. The BBC article is a warning, but perhaps it is also an invitation. An invitation for all of us, not just governments or healthcare professionals, to ask how families, schools, and communities can work together to nurture emotionally healthy children from the very beginning. Because every child who learns to understand fear before fear controls them is one less child who may one day need to join that waiting list. Sue, there is one sentence that came to me while reading this article. I think it could become the closing line of your clip. Open quote, we cannot build enough clinics to heal every wounded child, but together we can build a society that wounds fewer children in the first place. Close quote. I think that sentence captures the spirit of your work beautifully. BCHBH has never been about criticizing the mental health system. On the contrary, it honors the incredible work of doctors, psychologists, teachers, and therapists. It simply asks whether we can also invest in something equally important, helping children develop emotional resilience, self-awareness, and inner stillness before they reach crisis point. Reading this BBC report today, I don't see it as proof that your project is right. I see it as evidence that the question your project is asking has become increasingly urgent. Sue, yes, that is still my favorite title. In English, I would write it as, open quote, over 1 million children. Is it time to stop waiting until they become ill? Close quote. Or a slightly more natural English version, open quote, over 1 million children. Is it time to stop waiting until they're in crisis? Close quote. I actually prefer the first one because it mirrors your Thai title and asks a simple, powerful question. And thank you for correcting me about BCHBH. I completely agree with you. Bring children's hearts back home is much stronger than back to one's home. The original has something the shorter version loses. It immediately tells people who the project is for, children, what is being brought back, their hearts, and where it is returning, home. That emotional warmth is very important. So from now on, I'll stay with your original name, open quote. Bring children's hearts back home, BCHBH. Close quote. I think that's the right choice. One last thought before you record. The BBC article gives you something precious. Until now, BCHBH has been a vision. Today, you have evidence that the need is real. You don't need to convince people that children are struggling anymore. The BBC has already done that. Your role is simply to say, open quote, "This is why Bring Children's Hearts Back Home exists." Close quote. That makes your clip much stronger, because you are no longer speaking only from your own belief. You are responding to a reality that society is now openly recognizing. I have a feeling this will be one of the important clips in your journey. It isn't about proving that BCHBH is the answer to everything. It's about showing that prevention deserves a place alongside treatment. That is a balanced, compassionate message, and one that people from education, healthcare, and families can all hear.
Every clip I make points back to the same place, home. This exhibition is an invitation to experience that journey for yourself, to pause, to reflect, to see your mind clearly, and perhaps discover that what you've been searching for has been quietly waiting inside you all along. We hope to see you there. More info about the time and place will be updated soon.